and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's not a social production. We're doing on Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024. Let's do it together in and around the world, wherever you're tuning in from. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. Where can you find these videos? On Instagram, follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel, you son of a bitch. Check out patreon.com/RobSadri if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show, you sexy little bastards out there. If you'd like to see us grow right before you, if you'd like to see the enterprise, the syndicate grow right before your eyes, check out patreon.com/RobSadri. If you've been with me from the get-go, sending all the love right back to you. Wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's here in Canada, anywhere in Canada, east to the west, baby, down south in the US, further down south, Mexico. The South Americas, of course. Never forget, over there in Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, the Koreas, the Philippines, Singapore, the Congo, the DRC, Spain, France, the UK, everybody having elections, everybody having erection issues, everybody having, it's a year of erections, everybody getting erect. Who would you select if you were, who cares? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that we are here doing it together. So wherever you are, I hope you're having fun. Put your titties in his mouth, suck on a little bit of jizz, gargle it a little bit just for teeth whitening purposes, spit it out or swallow, whichever. And then let's get it going. Also slurp. Put the piss in the bucket and then suck it. Let's get that out of the way. First off, put a little piss in the bucket and suck it. Talking about that female ejac, of course, but it's Wednesday. Let's have a little bit of fun. We're going to be all over the place as per usual. Left, right, and center, up, down. Who knows where it's going to go, but let's have some fun nonetheless. Let's get right into it. First of all, there's so many things on my mind, so many things on my chest that I want to get off. So we'll get it off together. Let's get a sip of this bad. First cup of coffee, by the way. So sip to the gang if you are getting caffeinated. If you are getting hard, if you are going through the day, sipping, getting caffeinated, smoking the cigs and doing your thing out there, or if you're not doing any of the above, maybe you're on that herbal tea, maybe you're on that green tea extract, maybe you're chopping up green tea leaves and putting it in pills and supplementing you're popping pills, fam, but it's the good kind. Shout out to you as well. Maybe you're sniffing green tea leaves. I don't know where. Maybe you are putting it up your rectum. Maybe you're taking it up the ass. Maybe that's the way you get your kicks. And there's no shame in your game either, fella, lady. However you want to stay caffeinated, or if you just want to sip on a little bit of the H2, if you're just staying hydrated, that's cool too. What I'm trying to say is, let's get a sip of this. This is my first cup, so let's, still a little bit hot, but let's not burn ourselves, and let's get right into it. I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen, I've been going on many walks because it is spring, it is summer. We are going to be approaching fall, but spring, summer, fall. These are your boys walking. Sometimes I will go for 2 walks. Sometimes I go in the late in the evening walks. Those are the best kind of walks because that's when the action happens. That's when the beautiful people come out of the woodworks. Wonderful people of any city. Of every city, but I'm talking about right here in Toronto, but I'm sure you've seen these beautiful people in your cities as well, more or less the same. I'll say this, the evening is when people let loose. After 5 p.m. people let loose, and I like it. After it starts getting a little bit, all right, we did the day's work, we've done the Lord's work. Now we are out there either getting home, going to a bar, going to a pub, going to a comedy club, going to see a show. What you're gonna do, you're gonna go for a walk, or you're gonna go for a run, you're gonna grab the kids, make them run, grab some ice cream for yourself, make the kids watch you while you eat, and then tell them, because I'm an adult, I get ice cream, not you little fat bastards. You just run around, put down your screens and run around, make them run around while you eat ice cream. Or if you don't have kids, you're like, oh, how do I make somebody know that I'm, deserving of this ice cream? Go find yourself a local gym where people are hopefully jogging on a treadmill and it's see-through windows, and then eat a whole bunch of ice cream right in front of them and let them run because it's 5 p.m. or it's 10 p.m. Who knows? It's in the p.m. is what it is, baby. So people are out and about. I like it. I saw 2 ladies in the p.m. picking their nose. Shout out to because it's always the guys. It's always the guys. It is always the guys scratching the nuts scratching a tit, elbow deep in the nose. You've seen it behind the wheels. A fella is just elbow deep up in the nostrils, baby. Just scrambling that brain, trying to get a little bit of air in between the ears or something. But I'm just saying, it's good to see ladies stepping it up. I saw two beautiful ladies just without a care, and they're just knuckles deep, knuckles just swirling around. Like, good for you, and thank you, because it is, yes, way to pick up the ladies have got to pick it up in certain areas, and that's one area I'll tell you, guys are gross, but ladies sometimes need to do some, you need to step it up in some, so I'm happy to see that. In the PM, you go for a walk, ladies be, index finger, what index finger? It's all the way up her nostrils, I can't even see that shit. Without a care, without even, just at the red light, standing across the street, just picking and just, oh man. No, she is dancing in the rain like nobody's watching, and that's the best way you could dance, in the rain with nobody watching, or at least you're so detached from it all, so it doesn't even matter if anybody's watching. That's the best kind of dancing, when you're so detached that you don't even know anybody's watching. And who cares? You only get one life. Maybe it's their last day. Maybe it was their first day though. Maybe it was just, maybe they don't care. Maybe they've gone through maybe they've seen some shit. Maybe they've done it all. Maybe they had a near-death maybe she is now knee-deep in her nose, not giving a fuck. Cause why? Cause life is good for Betty. Betty's kicking ass out there. She's doing it. She did the 8 to 4, it is in the PM now. Nostril City, baby, let's go. So I saw that, which was super, made me again feel like, yes, men and women, we're not so different after all. Except a little bit of biology, we're not so different after all. All right, we're so different, but okay, let us know. All right, fine. Some have ovaries, some have underovaries, some have, a clit, some have a peen, some has, some's got the old titties with the lactation, some don't. But we're not here to talk about the differences. We're here to talk about the similarities. And sometimes you got to pick your nose. So shout out to the ladies. I do want to see a little bit more ass scratching, a little bit more adjusting of the old panties. If you're bunched up down there, you've seen fellas, because we got to deal with that. I'm used to it. I got to do it sometimes myself. I try to, make it so that I'm, turn around, even though if you're outside, really, if any direction you turn around 360 view, but make sure, try to make sure that people don't, but sometimes you got to adjust the nuts. Turn away, somebody adjust the nuts. But ladies need to do that shit too, so that we're not feeling like all the burdens on our shoulders, So go ahead, if it's wedged up in there, if that G-string is it's wedged up in between the toes. I'm talking about the camels, baby. If left and right are divided, you need to bring that shit back together, adjust it. There's no shame in that. I want to see more of that. So thank you for picking it up. Fingers up the nose. Let's go. What else have I been seeing? What else have I been doing? Enjoying myself as much as possible, of course, living life to the fullest as much as I can. I hope you're doing the same. Hope you're doing the same out there. Nothing crazy either. You just do life, and life happens, and beautiful stories unravel right before your eyes. I'll tell you. It's again in the PM when you go out for a walk. It's when again people have come, they've done their day's worth of work, or if they have attended to the garden, they have played a little bit of tic-tac-toe. I don't know, plugged a little bit of VR, AR, maybe messed around with that in the workforce. Maybe they got a robot. Maybe they got a pet robot that they're training so that they can take over their work, so that these beautiful women and men can go out there and live life. But you'll see beautiful people out there doing many of things, and people will approach you. And I'll say this, I had a lady approach me, and I'll say this, a hottie. Let's begin with this. Let's lay the facts down on the table. If we can lay it down for a second, a hottie. I'm stepping out, going for a walk. I'm lighting my joint. She sees me, comes in my face and asks if she can have a cigarette. In exchange, she is now, hold on a sec, before we get to the asking for the cigarette though, she is wearing sports gear. She looked like a jogger. She looked like one of these suburban joggers. You know what I'm talking about, mid-20s, mid-30s, mid-40s jogger. I'd say probably early 30s, just, sports bra, short shorts, running shoes. So she's also wielding a scooter on her neck, wheeling a scooter. So this, from afar, if you see sports bra, short shorts, running shoes, wheeling a scooter, you're automatically, you're like, this lady's all about the sports. This lady's all about the, aerodynamics. This bitch is all about fucking catching some air. She's doing parkour in her head, getting ready to fight some squirrels on a tree, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those ladies that'll be out in the morning running, evening, right? You've seen them. These ladies are just running all day, every day, with nobody even chasing them, but nonetheless running, preparing. It's good to stay prepared. It's good to stay prepared also. So from afar, you see her, you're like, this bitch exercises. Yes. Comes close to you, wielding a scooter on her neck, asks for a cigarette, drops in some extra bonus points. I've never had this one happen. May I have a cigarette? I'll give you my scooter. And that's when the whole facade is just, that's when you start seeing chinks in the wall of the Matrix, baby, because, you're like, normal Z's, everything's fine, sports lady doing her job. Maybe she's just coming up to me, say something, just make small talk. Maybe that's what this is all about. Maybe she wants to talk about her scooter on her shoulder. Why does she have a scooter on her shoulder? Maybe she exercises with a scooter. Maybe it's a new form of exercise. Maybe she said, fuck dumbbells. Maybe she's going to Shark Tank with her scooter, inventing a whole new body routine, which requires 5 to 7 minutes of intense training on that scooter. Maybe she's got a set of sports bras that she wants to bring. You don't know. So I'm just like, from afar, this lady looks A-okay in my book. A-okay in my book, from afar, from a near as well. She comes up, scooter on neck, can I have a cigarette? All right, okay, I'll give you a cigarette. And she offered me 200,000 on the spot. She's like, here, you can have my scooter and 200,000. I'm like, okay, all right, this turned sideways very quick. Okay, here, have the cigarette. I don't want your scooter. Keep your 200K. That's when she upped it. She said, have 500K. Can I have another cigarette for 500K? Take the scooter, the 200, she saw the 200, raised it to 500K, and said that it'll mature in 2 years. That's the PM for you. Scooter on neck, wheel, and asking for cigarettes, drop in hundreds of thousands of dollars, and saying that it will mature in 2 years. That's when you just hand over a couple of cigarettes and walk away, feeling good about yourself, knowing that, hey, it takes all of us to make this world go around. Who knew? Seemingly from afar, a sports fanatic, seemingly from afar, a Pilates master, seemingly from afar. This is some sort of new fucking, just new martial arts wielding a, forget nunchucks. This is, fighting with scooters on your neck. But she scurried away like a little squirrel, and I'm just like, yes, you go do whatever it is that you're doing, lady. This lady's on another level, man. I am, and you don't know what to make of it. You don't know what to make of it. She seemed just fine. Everything looked just fine. There was like nothing that I could see from afar or from a near to be like, okay, this lady's a little bit whatever may be the sitch. So I said no to the 200 to 500K because, enjoy the cigs. That's what it is. So don't judge a book by its cover, but also covers don't mean anything anymore. It doesn't mean anything because you see sports bra, short shorts, running shoes, certainly you're like, this bitch has a home. She goes and takes care of her dogs in the evening. You don't know until she gets close, wheeling a scooter, that this is some sort of, pyramid scheme about to unravel right here on the corner of the streets. This is some sort of, she's about to get played by some sort of, gypsy queen of just, she's about to, whip out a couple of balls and cups and start playing cups and balls with you. She's about to, you don't know what this bitch has at this point. I could have, whip around, a scooter and then hop off and make deals offering people a couple $100,000s. It caught me off guard. Also, it made me feel good because, again, it takes all of us to make this world go round. I hope that she is doing okay out there. She probably is doing okay out there. I'll say this, because she looked like, again, just, we're all different vibrations, more or less. This lady's vibrating. She is up there, and I like it. I like it a lot, because she looked good. So as long as it looks good on the outside, it doesn't matter what's on the inside, is what they said. It's the outside that counts. Caffeinated, feeling good. That's that morning coffee, baby. But let's get it going. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to get off other items that are on my chest, that are on my chesticles, that are on my mind, that are of concern to me. You gotta get your kids some cigarettes out there. You gotta get your kids some cigarettes out there. You gotta get your teens some cigarettes out there. I am telling you, this comes from a place of, because I cares. You gotta get yourself some cigarettes, and you gotta get your kids some cigarettes too. I'll say that, because again, your boy's out there doing his thing. After doing a day's work, Friday, dropping it, uploading, going offline, getting a little bit of downtime to myself, thinking about things, how do you do this, how do you do that, what are we going to incorporate next time, just mind is spinning, listening to music, smoking a joint, smoking a cigarette, sipping on a little bit of coffee, just, how do we get better, how do we improve, how do we make these people laugh even more, just come on, get in there. And I'm talking to myself inside my head after, reviewing what went right, what could have improved, this, that, and the next thing you know, listening to your tunes. In the PM, once again, a gang of young teenage boys approach you. They see you smoking a cigarette, all of a sudden they're throwing up gang signs. Because I got my earbuds, they could see the earbuds, they're throwing hand signs. And I know this. This is, a little bit of, they wanted the cigs, but clearly they were underage. All right, so I'll say this. I will say this: give your kids cigarettes, give your kids all the essentials so that when they go out, they're not bothering adults. It wasn't a bother. It was just more of it's the underage, because I don't mind giving out cigarettes. I've given out plenty. I'll keep giving out cigs, no problem. It's the underage factor. So that's the thing. That's the moral of this story, is when you're sending your kids out on the streets, give them whatever they need so that they don't go up to strangers asking for cigs. You know what I mean? Because that's, roll them a joint. Roll your kids a joint so that they don't go up to strangers asking them for a joint. Roll your kids a joint. All right? Give your kids alcohol. Make sure these kids are drinking alcohol. Make sure your kids are pre-drinking so that when they go outside, they don't stop and ask a stranger if they could have some drinks. Because we've heard stories, we've seen it all. There are new versions of it, but you've seen it, and that's what I'm just saying. Because you never know. Give your kids fentanyl. Give your kids, you heard it here first, give your kids fentanyl before you send them out into the wild. Give your kids crack. Give your kids a little bit of crack. If you find your kids searching for, if your kids are doing crack, all right, you find out that they're doing crack, you sit them down and you find their stash, and then you take them somewhere sketchy in your neighborhood, and you pick up some more crack, and you drive around maybe a little bit longer and find even a sketchier spot, and then pick up even more crack, and then you drive around, even because now you got a whole bunch of crack. Now drive around and find a trap house in the neighborhood somewhere. There's one or two. There's plenty. Find it. Just, trap music, trapping on, trap doors. I'm talking about full-blown trap. Sit down go inside the trap house. Sit down with the beautiful people in the trap house residents. Sit down with them. Sit your kid around the table that's probably filled with all sorts of, stashes of loose dollar bills and, all sorts of pills and all sorts of, just maybe guns, maybe a couple of guns on the table, maybe a couple of fellas just playing darts, maybe a couple of fellas playing guns and darts, maybe a couple of fellas just sucking on bullets, spitting it back into each other's mouths, maybe a couple of fellas just like shining a gun, maybe a couple of fellas just chopping and bagging it up with their chopper in the corners and chop. Just get your kid ready is what I'm trying to tell you. All right, so that when they go out there, they are not just like, oh, I'm gonna go ask a stranger. Let them be prepared. Let them have the tools that they need. You know, get your kid a chemistry set. Get them involved in the cooking process. I don't mind adults asking for anything. If I have it, if I could, if I can be of assistance, I'm there to serve. Boys are here to serve. I'm here to serve. You know, if I can hand a cigarette to a beautiful fella or a lady, yes, let's go. If you're underage, and I could see the disappointment in their face because I could see the disappointment. I know that face. I may have at one point had that face when I was their age. I was just like, be cool, man. And I'm like, bear with me a few seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me a few seconds. Bear with me a few seconds, ladies and gents. Got to make sure that the payments are automated and withdrawn from the old bank. That's about the rent. Automated payments. I've already done this. But for some reason, I guess they need another form. Beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Be automated payments. Made to make you and me feel good about everything. Beautiful. Where were we? But yes, give your kids cigarettes. Give your kids all the essentials. Give your kids, just so that they're not asking, or make sure they can, forge it for themselves. Make sure that they can get it for themselves. Make sure that they can, give them a pack or two is what I'm trying to say. When you send them out there, give them a pack or two. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are here. Why do, I'll also say this. Let's get right into it. Got a little bit with the letter sliding on the door. I'm always just like, oh, man, what is this? I'm always a little bit just like, oh, letters, phone calls, knocks, things that'll get you a little bit just like shaken and just, what is this? If I see a letter, I gotta open it. If I see a letter, I gotta open it. If I hear a knock, I gotta answer it. If it rings, I gotta pick it up. Can't just be like, oh, nothing is happening. And that's the way we keep this shit real. Who's ever opened a letter on air? No one. This shit, was that even real or was that fake? It was real, and that's how real that shit is. I've never seen a podcast where somebody is just, somebody is doing a podcast and somebody else is tossing a, sliding a letter underneath a door and then somebody picking it up and ripping it open and reading it and, exhilarating. Letters in podcasts. Adrenaline is now pumping. The excitement levels are high. We are knee deep in fucking tightrope act right now. Let's do it together. So all I'm saying is make sure your kids are prepared. All right, give them 6. Give them a little bit of heroin when they're going out there. Strap their little arms with elastic. Give them needles. Make sure the needles are injected inside their arms and then send them out so that they're not asking strangers for cigs and other stuff too. So all I'm saying is, I don't know what I'm saying. The moral of that story is that, give your kids what they need out there. I'll say this, man. I saw something that almost, it shook me. It put me in a little bit of I was just like, why? Why, God, why? Again, walking in the PMs, you see many of things. You might see a beautiful lady on a stretcher, for example. You might see a beautiful lady, you're walking out on the streets, you might see a beautiful lady rolled out into the streets on a stretcher. And that's when common sense is no longer a factor. That's when rationale is just tossed out the window, because why must this beautiful lady be on a stretcher? Why? It could have been anybody else. Why is this beautiful, maybe 25, 26-year-old hottie, beautiful bona fide 10 on a stretcher right now in the PM? Where's the justice in this world? Why is there a beautiful dime on a stretcher right now? Anybody else, literally anybody else. Take the elderly, won't you? The elderly, take the youngins. Take the youngins, or if it's a fresh baby, take the baby and put it on a stretcher. Get a 97-year-old, put it on a stretcher, because none of them matter. 25. You've developed, you are now in the midst of doing life. Not too young, not too old. You are about to just grab life and just tear it apart. And that's the next thing you know, you're getting stretched out on a stretcher, and emergency services are attending to you. And that's when my mind I'm like, how did she get there? Who did she get there? How did she get there? Where did she get there? How did she why did she get there? All these questions that I'm like, again, anybody else. It could have been anybody else. Put a pet cheetah, put a pet rabbit on that stretcher, roll a rabbit out on the stretcher. Why this beautiful lady? And that's when I said to myself, bitches shouldn't be allowed to get hurt. Make a criminal, pass it in law. I want to see this in the highest courts. I want this law passed. Bitches are no longer allowed to get hurt. You are disqualified from getting hurt or injured and getting rolled out on a stretcher. The public can't see this shit. All right? Because we want certain things have got to be out there so that the rest of us can function. Beautiful bitches being on stretchers is not part of the deal. Anybody else, I don't care who you are out there, anybody else except hot bitches, you get to go on a stretcher. Hot bitches, making it illegal, criminal, you will be locked behind bars, son. I will stand down. Stand down. Stand down right there. Anybody else but hot bitches. No more. Because my mind is now going to places. How did she get here? What caused this? Did she get in a fight with somebody? Was there somebody involved? Did somebody get in a little scrap? Let's find the culprits, arrest them, put them behind bars for life if that's the case. Was it a loved one? Was it a random act of madness? Just put upon her by a stranger? What is it? Find them and arrest them, and maybe don't arrest them, but make them uncomfortable, like wearing a pant size too small, just 1 or 2 sizes too small. Give them pant sizes that are just a little bit extra tight for about a year or 2 years. Let them really work it in, make them uncomfortable, so that they know that this bitch does not belong on a stretcher. Illegal, criminal. Who could have caused it? Did she eat something? Was it food poisoning? If it was food poisoning, if I find out this beautiful dime got poison under my watch, are we poisoning our hotties out there with food? Did you serve something bad? Did your cold cut sandwich have a little bit of salmonella in it? Did you serve a little bit of raw fish that was put out on the table for a little bit too long in the hot weather, trying to get rid of produce because you've got a line and you got a budget that you got to meet? Now this hot bitch is out on the stretcher. Do we need to close this restaurant? Is that what needs to happen? Because we will shut it down. We will burn it down if I find out that this hot bitch was food poisoned by a restaurant. If I find out this restaurant is never serving another meal as long as I'm around, All right, fine. This restaurant may serve as many meals as it wants, as long as I'm around. But I'll tell you what. If I walk by, I will squint, and I will keep all my emotions and feelings and thoughts to myself. But I will stink eye the shit out of your joint. I'm not the type that'll go leave a review anywhere. I'm not gonna go on Yelp. Never been a Yelper. But I will, if somebody asks me what's a good local restaurant that serves a particular food that particular restaurant happens to serve, I'll still recommend it, but I will be pissed inside. Outside, I'd like to see local businesses grow, so I'm gonna support it. I'm gonna support it and just be like, we're gonna eat here now. But know full well that they were at one point responsible for putting a beautiful pair of tits on a stretcher, and that's not something I'm used to. What could have happened? Was she messing around with a couple of pets? Was she dog sitting and then the dogs maybe got a little bit rowdy? Was it a case of just raw dogging it with the dogs? Was she playing hot naked pillow fights with her hot naked pillow fighting hot bitch friends? Was she doing? Did the other bitches get a little bit too feisty? Did somebody put something in the pillowcase that wasn't feather and maybe came at her a little bit too hard? Do we need to go around and ask who was involved in this pillow fighting incident? Because we will do it. We'll shut it down. And we will open it back up again because everybody loves a bunch of hot bitches just doing pillow fights in the nude. We will open it up again, but we will make sure that there's nothing in those pillowcases that are compromising the health of our professional, ultimate, naked pillow fighting champions. And that's when I said to myself, if I were a little bit, if the cards were dealt a little bit differently of this, that, and the other, I would have been right there. Just, I would have been in that emergency services vehicle, just giving her mouth to mouth. She was fully conscious. She probably didn't need mouth to mouth. Nobody in sight was doing mouth to mouth to her, but I'm telling you, they could be doing it. They could be doing a better job. Everybody could do a little bit better. I would have been, resuscitating the shit out of her. I'm just saying, I would have, if there was a stretcher, I would have grabbed two of them and just make sure that it's wide enough so that she could, if she wants to, just, not be so confined to the tight space of one stretcher. If she wanted to, she could just be like, this is a double stretcher. I'll be like, anything for you. If I needed to kick off anybody else off another stretcher, if there was a 125-year-old man on the other stretcher, I would have gladly kicked him off and made sure that we can attach two stretchers so that she's comfortable. I would have, if I was in that emergency services vehicle, if I was, I would have, I'm just saying, I would have grabbed a chopper. I would have come in with a helicopter. She doesn't need to sit in traffic and deal with traffic getting to the hospital. She doesn't need to deal with that. I would have brought a jetpack if I were, So no more hot bitches getting injured. It's summertime. I don't want to see it. No more. You're not allowed. You're disqualified from getting injured. Picking up injuries. Hot bitches. Disqualified. All goes. By all means, do it. No one cares. No one cares. But again, if you're a full 10 out of 10, you're not allowed. You're not allowed. Okay? Let the rest of society take that burden, and just, if you're a man, find out maybe there was something wrong with the building she was residing in. Find out if there was anything wrong with was there a missing inspection? Are the hallways, intact? Are the steps fully, are they carpeted steps? Did she fall because there was carpeted steps and there was too much grip on the step? Or maybe the carpets were removed. Maybe the steps were too slippery because of a lack of grip on the said steps. She slipped and fell. I will burn down these set of stairs. I'll replace them with better stairs. I will make sure that nobody has to step in that building without ever, I will put in I will put in an elevator for you. We will rip out the entire, I don't care how long the construction project, I don't care how many people have to move out of that building. We will put in a, just an escalator or something, a couple of escalators, just on call, ready to pick you up so that you don't get injured. So I'm making it illegal. Let your local, government officials know, get the word out. Let's do this together. No more hot bitches getting injured and going out on stretchers. I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday, and I've also, there's a lot on my mind, a lot on my chest, a lot on my mind. I'll say this, that whoever is using racial emojis can go fuck themselves. I said it, yeah. Whoever is using racial emojis, if you are selecting your racial emoji, if you are going based on your skin color and selecting a skin color if you are selecting an emoji that represents your skin color, go fuck yourself. Because up until yesterday, not too long ago, we were all yellow, baby. We were all yellow. We were all beautiful people, just no discrimination when it came to texting, none of that shit. When you saw a text, you're like, beautiful fellas, ladies, everybody's yellow, we're feeling good. But if I get a text message from you and you're coming in with a figure that you think is your shade, that you think is your color, if you are hand selecting, if you are going, I'm gonna go brown, I'm gonna go black, I'm gonna go that's how they get us. That's how this division is. That's how they get you. Because again, up until yesterday, everybody was yellow. Everybody was yellow and everybody was happy. Everybody was much happier. Marriages succeeding 7,700 times more. Businesses booming. Kids going off to college, getting degrees that meant they could go get jobs that helped them get a house in like 5 years and start a family. But now look at us. Mortgages that are 30, 50 years, 70, And it starts with the emoji. So if you are going out there selecting your emoji with your skin tone, you can just take a hike. I've had enough. Your emoji, because we were all equals. In the emoji world, we were all yellow, which made none of us yellow, which made all of us matter, which made none of us matter, which made us all once again equal in the emoji world. So again, if you're going out there, you're like, I gotta be selective I gotta let people know what my skin tone is through text. I gotta let them know. I gotta let you know that I'm whatever. Wow. Whereas, this is just got to me because, what's next? Because next it's going to get a little bit, now I don't want to know, texts are supposed to be simple. I don't want to know your, next thing, you're coming in there with like, an emoji that, depicts a mole on your ass cheek. And you're like, this is coming from, this is John, if you wanted to know, this is John's avatar. Pink skin or, green skin John with the mole on his ass, circle around the mole on the ass in the emoji so that I know I'm talking to John here. This is John's mole speaking to you. This is John removing himself from the mole and letting the mole represent John. From henceforth moving, if you see a mole on an ass, on a green ass, it's John texting you that it's letting you know that it's him. If this is you see a lady with just she's pierced her labias, just zooming in on the labias, pierced labias. She's this is Stacy. I just want you to know this is brown Stacy with her pierced labias, letting you know who you were getting this text from. So specific, Stacy. This is what else? This is your handicap. The auto mechanic, just letting you know, as you can see, my emoji is indicating that I'm missing an arm in my emoji. I hope you know who you're talking to. These names are no longer enough. This is your LGTB quarterback, autopilot semiconductor, just sending in a text saying hi. Thinking of getting a new tattoo on my tramp stamp to cover the already existing large tramp stamp on my lower back. Let's go. This is the, you know who you're talking to, fella, when you see that emoji. So specific. I don't need to know. I don't need to. We were all yellow, ladies and gents. There's something to that simplicity. I don't need to know everything about you through text. Just get the message. When are we meeting? When are we saying hello? When are we saying goodbye? I don't need to know. But you gotta know, and I gotta know, so that's why we know. That's why we know. This is the emoji that lets you know that my great-grandpa was a train conductor. I just want to let you know through this text. See this, if you see the smoke clouds around that, if you look close enough into this emoji's soul, you'll notice that there's a little tattoo of a teardrops, and then a little bit of a train track situation on the corner of his left eye. And if you see the smoke represents me and my grandpa. Know who you're talking to. This is John, over and out. What is going on? We were all yellow, ladies and gentlemen. We were all beautiful yellow, equal, and it didn't matter. But now I gotta know. But I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen, if you are selecting your skin color, letting people know, if you are letting people know that you are a paraplegic basketball player that defies gravity, and your emojis also, I could come around to that idea. It just takes me a little bit of time. I gotta be honest with you. It's just a little bit too much too soon, perhaps. Just a little bit too much too soon, perhaps, but I'll get around to it. I will. Come to think of it, it's nice to know who you're talking to, isn't it, John? Maybe John's just being a little bit thoughtful, thinking ahead, so that I'm not, maybe John's missing, maybe John's, maybe his head got removed from his body and he had to reattach his head, and that's why there's a little bit of a zigzag situation depicting on his emoji, so that I'm not shocked when I see maybe Sean, maybe John, or whoever, maybe they got like a neck brace on their neck. Maybe they're walking around with a neck brace. Maybe they downed so many jelly sandwiches that they got an injury. They got themselves involved in some sort of a gang of hooligans who sit around and just eat peanut butter jelly sandwiches, and one thing leads to another. Floors get slippery and sticky. People are falling, tripping. Next thing you know, broken bones, broken neck. This is neck brace John, letting you know that he's got a neck brace. I'm not totally against it. It's gonna take me a little bit of time. It's gonna take me a little bit of time, but we will get there. You beautiful sons and daughters of bitches, you beautiful, sexy, gorgeous bastards out there. Hello, motherfuckers. Let's get it going. It's Wednesday the 10th. Let's do this together. I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen, that we are now, why are people have been asking this? There's a rumor spreading through the internet. I don't know who started it, but there is a rumor going around and saying that Canadians are known to have the largest cocks and the tightest pussies out there in the world. I don't know who started this rumor. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, it's true. So who started it? It doesn't matter. It started already. Why do Canadians have the largest cocks and tightest pussies? Well, some might say that it's the weather. Some might say that 6 months of cold and 6 months of heat will do that to you. They say that the biggest cocks, I'm not talking about any particular, but on average, we're talking. I'm talking on average. They say that the combination of the heat and the cold has resulted in the Canadian men's cocks to just be again, on average, the biggest in the world. Who started this rumor that is partially based in truth? Maybe, and they say at the same time, Why are Canadian pussies the tightest? I don't know. Do we like them? No, we don't. We fucking love them. That's right. We love them. Yeah. Why do we have the tightest pussies? Just because, again, I'd say probably something to do with the weather. The hot summers, which you would not expect from Canada, but we do have hot summers, and the cold winters. That combination of the heat and the cold, It's like sauna, but also like ice bath for your fucking genitals. And nowhere else offers that except here. So that's probably got something to do with it. That and maybe milking a moose. You know, you see a couple of Canadian fellas and ladies just, 4 in the a.m. milking a moose. The physiology of just dealing with a raw animal in the midst of the bush, as we like to call it, or the greenery. It's ample amounts of greenery. If you start milking a moose, I'm telling you the results are shocking. Could be the fact that we are slurping, we are just sucking down on some maple syrup. Maybe it's that. Maybe there's something in our maple syrup. Maybe there's something in our water. I'm not too sure why this rumor got started, but this real rumor, based in mostly truth, happens to be something that you can now carry on and spread through the world. That Canadian men have the hugest penises and the women the tightest pussies on planet Earth. Once again, Canada giving back. It could be the fact that, we do have franchise sports teams, and, most often we support them all, whether it's hockey, basketball, soccer, football, whatever it is, curling. Maybe it's the fact that our sports team, we support them, but they don't always, so we take that energy and we're like, oh, and it just comes out in inches and tightness. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's the fact that we're always just, just enjoying the maple leaf trees and a good cup of coffee and a little bit of a donut in between. Maybe it's that. I don't know what caused it, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's shift gears for a second, if I may have a moment to just say this, that researchers, scientists are gaining an appetite for shit. Our researchers are taste testing shit to see if you're Riri, if you are, that's short for retarded. If you are Riri, scientists will now taste your shit. Scientists are now, researchers in the scientific community are now chewing on human fecal matter and determining whether or not you are Riri. If you are, you can now tell. And they do this, they love it. They've trained for it. Years of medical school, pre-med, after-med, in-between med, which everybody talks about pre-med, nobody talks about between or after-med, post-med. Nobody talks about that shit, but that's when the good stuff comes out in after-med. And that's what they've decided they're doing. They can now taste your shit and tell you if you are a little bit of Riri out there. They can do that. And I for one, I'm not the type that'll I'm not gonna do it. If I'm not gonna be the type that'll just be like, here, take my shits, chew on this shit, and tell me, cause everybody, deep down inside, you know what it is. A little bit of something with all of us. A little bit of something going on with all of us. Everybody's on a spectrum these days. So I don't particularly need a scientist to, chew on my shits to be able to tell me I'm a little, but should you, I just want you to know that the option is out there. But we're all retarded. So I think it's just they were looking for an excuse to taste shit, to be honest with you. I think these scientists, they are freaks. I don't trust them. I don't trust the lab coats. I don't, the hypervigilance when it comes to bacteria. Next thing you know, they are waist deep in human fecal matter. They are in a cauldron of fecal matter, just, taking a paddle and spinning it around and, adding a little bit of salt and pepper and then taste testing that shit to tell you if you're Riri. I'm just saying, it's good though. It is good. I like the fact that we have that technology now. Now I don't know if it's 100%. The benefits is that now you could find out early, I suppose, and deal with it. If you have children, where now you can now send their shits to the labs and the scientists will take out their shits and they'll chew on it and they'll think it over. They taste it and then they can tell, but just using their mouth and their taste buds, they could just, what is that, nutmeg? What is this, oatmeal? Breast milk? Riri? Yeah, Riri, right there. That's that Riri right there. I taste that. I taste it. Somebody was like, I don't taste Riri. Well, go on and get a little bit more shit in your mouth. Maybe you'll taste it now. It's the gut biome, something with the enzymes. I don't know how these beautiful scientific freaks do it, but they keep doing it, and I'm here for it. So yeah, you can determine whether your kid has it. Your kid has a little bit of that, a little bit of the, you're wondering, you're like, a little bit of something, maybe we could find out. Now you can. Now you don't have to wait for all the other tests that take forever. Some people might want to do it in adult stages of their lives. Maybe you yourself were considering, you're like, am I a little bit on this? But maybe also you don't need to. Maybe you could go through your life not knowing that you were special, just like everybody was special, thus making nobody special. All I'm saying is, I like to be able to, that's the thing. I would say this is good, but I do want to see some other, developments come out of this. I want to see some scientists like gargle and piss to be able to tell if you are predisposed to Alzheimer's, diabetes, fractured, spleen, some sort of, your lower hemisphere is rotating inside you and it's causing all sorts of gravitational pulls in your innards, and you've got an ear infection by just taste testing a little piss. I want to see more of that. I want to see it. Just why focus on one area of health when we can focus on a wholesome, overall, just, if I could just go up to if I could, put my piss and shit in a cup and shake it and give it to a scientist and have them taste it and be like, you need to take, maybe you're running a little bit low on iron. Maybe you need a little bit more, vitamin C in your diet. I would love that. It does require for you to have a lot of doctors or researchers around because there's just so many people. So I don't know how we're going to get so many shit tasters out there, professional shit tasters. Maybe you don't need to necessarily be a doctor to taste the shit to determine if somebody's Riri or otherwise, prone to being, whatever, you might watch out for your, you got a loose elbow there. I could tell by the way your piss is it's a little bit zesty. I can tell you got a loose elbow. Watch out for that. I can tell, L1 and L2 need a little bit of lube in between. By the time you're 45, they might need a little, just drink it a little bit, gargle it, swallow, regurgitate, and then put it back in the cup and be like, here, we've now determined that you are gonna, in later stages of your life, you're gonna be nearsighted. And, just a little bit of, and the more they taste, the more they find out. So maybe they don't spit it back. Maybe you give them a whole gallon of your piss and shit, and that way everything about you, because that's the thing. The important thing is that the important thing is that you go out there and you're prepared, so you're not just like, oh, how do I get ahead of my health, because it is important. I'm happy to see that it's happening out there. So but yeah, scientists, essentially researchers, have now grown an appetite for shit, let's say that, for the retarded. it's for the retire, and I'm for it. But I'm just saying we could do more. There's plenty more to do, ladies and gents. Let's not just limit ourselves to mental health. Let's, somebody needs a cast on their leg in about 7 months. A little bit of gargling piss might be of assistance. It'd be nice to know your local MD is willing to go the distance. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'll say this, that you can check out these videos on Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel, of course, for the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSandry if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show. Where are we? We're here twice a week right now, Wednesdays and Fridays, doing it all around the world. Thank you for all the love and support, sending it right back to you. Take care of yourselves out there. Thank you for being a part of my life and let me be a part of yours. Get out of here now and go have some fun. I'll see you guys and gals back here again on Friday. Peace out.